Alright, so in this episode we are going to do a manual transmission swap on an R31 Skyline. First thing, we have got it jacked in the air. We have it. Oh fuck. I disconnected the gear shifter. Probably should have put it in neutral first. So we just need to work out what the linkage does. So basically it's in park, gets click down 1, click down 2 is neutral. Do that underneath manually. Taken this off, disconnected the battery, undone the starter motor wires. I'm just gonna get the tail shaft off. Alright, this is our shifter. So I think that's neutral. Whoa. Might be reverse, click one more. Still locked, alright, pull it back. So that should be park. That should be reverse. This should be neutral. What is not? That should be third, second, and first. Second, third, drive, neutral. Oh, the handbrake's on. Wow. Alright, so the handbrake was on. Now it fucking spins. Need to line up these bottom bolts. Get the tail shaft off. Get the tail shaft off. Ah, nice. Warner diff. Need to undo the fucking center bracket, clog up the hole where we take it out. At the back of the gearbox is gonna piss out oil everywhere. Shaft's out. No oil's coming out yet. Maybe if we drop the box, cross member might leak some. Fuck knows. Unbolted the bottom supports, loosened the bolts up either side. Should be able to pull the sandwich plate out. So this weird lump on it faces the motor, and the flat side faces the gearbox. We're changing it so we don't. I doubt the auto and manual sandwich plates the same. Probably won't need this. Find out. Got the starter motor unbolted. Looks alright. They lack automatic electrical. It's been fixed at one point. Alright, it's day 2, and in typical fashion, as soon as we get another day, all overcast, it's like raining on and off. Started raining this morning, so like, it's kind of dried up now, but it's real shit weather, but gonna try and get some done before the rain. So we got the auto trans cooler lines off this morning that go to the radiator, so it runs from the gearbox, automatic fluid from the gearbox oil to your radiator in this case, and it cools it down. But you know, we're making it manual, so we don't need them, as well as you need to kind of unbolt them to take the box off. Got them off. You got this 27mm socket, so what we're going to try and do is turn the motor on the front harmonic balancer to spin the torque converter, so we can get to the bolts at the bottom access, viewpoint. We can get to them and undo the torque converter bolts, so we can pull out the gearbox with the torque converter in the gearbox. Today on the site, we have found a fluoro green block. This is crazy. It's fucking fluoro green. Alright, so we're doing this manual swap on the 31 Crackmobile shard transporter. Alright, so we've been trying to get undone the gearbox wires, like the speedo sensor neutral inhibitor switch, fart assing around the car, because this runs down along the gearbox. That's weird. Coolant just started leaking out of the car, because that's a fresh puddle of coolant. So it's like just started leaking coolant like within the last minute, randomly, which is crazy. So the starter motor's off. We have these off, these support plates which bolt up here and up to there on your motor. Now we got some bolts up the top of the gearbox that are still holding it in. Some random parts falling on me. So we have the cross member drop down, supported by the jack, because then we can access the top bolts up here from the back of the gearbox with long extensions. Now we've got the linkage off, and what I had trouble with is kind of this sensor, because I'm like, it looks like you can just unscrew the dog, but the casing is holding it on, so it's a bit hard. So I've been trying to unwire all these wires, rip the tail shaft off, unwire all these wires so we can drop the box. Now looking at it, I found a new wire up here for the neutral inhibitor, wired in there to like the gear selection sensor to tell you what's sent. Pretty sure that's what it does. So with all these wires up here, like, it's a fucking pain in the cock. I've got the fucking Skyline owner's manual, and it's telling me to unbolt all this shit, which is fucked. And if you follow these wires, well, they go up and there's no break in the wires, so you can't just unclip it and then drop the whole box. Or can you? Now this is how good this Nissan Commodore is. That's right, it's a Nissan Commodore, because look at this. I've been stuffing around with this gearbox for half an hour, and all I had to do was this. So if you follow these wires from a box, a Commodore box, wait, what? The fucking wires plug in behind the battery in your engine bay and run on a 2-meter long loom. Meaning you don't even have to fuck around underneath the gearbox at all. You just unplug the plugs in your engine bay, unbolt your gearbox and tail shaft and pull it out. This is like the easiest manual swap ever. You just need to actually, once you find out where these electrical plugs are behind your battery tucked away, this is actually like one of the best manual swaps. Like your starter motor, you get from the engine bay. You just get a long extension to get the back bolt, and then you know you can crack the back bolt first. Do that, the easiest one to get last. It's fucking easy, man. The starter motor come out in like 5 minutes. We just unplugged those gearbox plugs in like half an hour, but they actually only took like 1 minute to unplug. So basically through here we need to spin the auto flex plate around. See, look, I've been like unwiring these wires, man, like tucking them from the back of the gearbox, fucking around. I'm not even gonna do that. So anyway, up in here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's bolts, and they hold the automatic torque converter to the automatic flywheel, which is called a flex plate. It's like a flywheel, but it's a flex plate. So the torque converter's bolted to that. So you have to unbolt, you don't have to, but it's good practice to unbolt your torque converter from the flex plate when you pull the gearbox out. So you have the torque converter in the bell housing of the gearbox instead of the torque converter bolted to the flex plate, and you just pull it. Yeah, you know what I mean. You probably don't, but you learn something new all the time. So anyway, we have to unbolt these bolts, so we're gonna have to spin this plate around. Now the easiest way to do that is with the harmonic balance of the crankshaft at the front of the motor. So to spin the back of the motor around, because this is all bolted, the gearbox is currently bolted to the back of the crankshaft of the motor, basically, more than less. So we have to unbolt this and we have to spin this. So we spin this here on the harmonic balancer, which will spin that back, and then obviously when you try and undo the bolts here, well, your breaker bar just spins the whole motor from the back. So there's two ways, easy ways you can just jam up the motor. First is you just put your gearbox into gear. Now we've got the linkages off, so you just do this. That's first. That's park. So you put your park brake on, and then you try just undo these bolts when you have to spin the motor at the front. So obviously we can't spin the motor now because it's in park, so we have to go park, reverse, neutral. Then we spin the motor from the front. We get this bolt so we can see it by spinning the front. We can see this bolt. Then we lock the fucking box, or you can counter hold the harmonic balancer to lock it. But more than less, we unbolt this and we drop the gearbox. I'm gonna do that now. I've made this extension up for some gearbox removal. So try to take the gearbox out. So the goal with this is you can reach the very top gearbox bolt from the back of the gearbox and not have to jam your hands up in any tight spaces. You just turn this in a full circular rotation instead of going back and forth in a tight space. You clear the whole gearbox and can just spin in circles. I don't know if you can see up there, but up there I see a nut. I'm gonna nut on this Skyline, or sorry, Nissan Commodore. So anyway, we jam Mega Boy up here. Come on, boy. There we go. So Mega Boy is up on the nut. He's got his nut on. Got a nice hazard breaker bar down back. So then now, bit hard with one hand, I'll fucking spin this dog around. Bros, I just cracked it. I didn't even fucking try. I'm doing it with my left hand and a big wobbly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 extensions on my fucking breaker bar. I've got 6 extensions on the gun. I just cracked the hardest nut to do on the whole gearbox in with my left hand, and I haven't even tried. I haven't even tried to take this gearbox out of the car. It's just like fell out of the car. Bro, this is fucking skits. You could probably even just like flat Mega Boy and start spinning him. So yeah, basically I just turn Mega Boy around. I'll get the camera somewhere. Fuck. I just fucked the camera up. See, it's harder to film than to fucking try and use Mega Boy over here. Now he's fucking falling off, the stupid cunt. Fucking how easy is this? I don't know if you cunts can see this shit, bro, but I'm dead so just like taking the hardest gearbox. Whole gearbox out. Just like with this long ass fucking extension. I could probably use my rattle gun on here if I really wanted to. But the bolt's out. We got the bolt out. So, down here now, I don't know if you can be able to see this, but down in here, we have the bolt from the gearbox. The hardest bolt to get out is out. I can reach this one with a spanner. I can reach that one with a spanner, your spanner. All just spanners. And it will work. Nice. I don't know what this breather is for. Whoa, it's echoing. Echo. 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 Alright, echoes in my fucking bonnet. This car's just echoing. I don't know what this clips onto. I don't know. Aircon. So there's a fucking crispy snail in my exhaust that's just incinerated, and his shell is like hollow, like the snail just got turned into like snails already goo, so like he just went even more gooey on the exhaust. It's a bit ratty around here, looks a bit fucking disgusting. Probably the nicest thing's exhaust. Some sort of aftermarket exhaust. I don't know what fucking exhaust. There's one for sale on eBay for like 400 or 500. I think it might be that one. Sweet. I'll take the dipstick off as a precaution, so it's not, as you can see, this is the dipstick here, and it will like catch on the firewall. So it'd be a smart idea just to take that off. It's like 110mm, which is here. Alright, so now the gearbox cross member is dropped down. It's like it has been all day, because I fucking dropped it down this morning. We can get to the nut for the dipstick, because before, when the box was higher, this spanner is hidden up here. Couldn't fucking do much. So now the dipstick is out. So since the body's housing's out, we just pull the dipstick up the tube, because the dipstick is like what's still in the box, because the dipstick hangs low, that's how it dips in the oil. So the housing's clear, so we just pull the dipstick out, and then that's already cleared. Pretty sure these are the fucking wires. That white wire is going right down here onto the ground. So we've got the hardest bolt out. Literally everything's out. So we just undo one bolt either side, and the torque converter's still got 2 bolts in. So we unbolt torque converter, unbolt these 2 bolts, and drop the box. Matic D, Nissan. We got that out. So the housing should be, well, now the housing's clear of the box, we know that. And now the housing's in my hands. So that's done. There's really not much left of this box. There's 2 bolts and torque converter. So we've got a counter hold the harmonic balancer. I'm pretty sure it's 27mm. Well, we got to actually spin that around first to get to match up one of our torque converter bolts. We're back on the skyline. It's been about 5 or 6 days. It's been pissing down rain. I've had to re-roof, do all the sheets on my whole roof. My house has been raining inside. We finally got sunlight again for 4 hours, and we're getting lightning storms. We've got 4 hours to try and do something on the skyline. So we have 2 torque converter bolts still in. So we've spun our gearbox / motor to the right spot. We're going to lock the transmission. Put it in park. Alright. So now we need to try and unscrew this. So we've just cracked the bolt. I'm fairly sure we have. Might try it for spanner or something. Works with a spanner. It's a bit tight and tedious. It's hard to kind of film and do mechanic work because you're doing everything with one hand, and like, yeah, it just makes you look like you're not very good at doing stuff, but actually like you're doing everything one-handed. So you should see what happens when you try and do it with two hands. You become a gun. So we've got to get out one more torque converter bolt, park, reverse neutral, I think that is. Sound like a big, it went all at once. Get the last bolt out. Alright, so in some sort of crazy maniac fashion, I'm pretty sure we have all the bolts off the torque converter flex plate. So what we do now, because we've got 3 bolts off, is we spin it one more rotation, because this is the last bolt we got off. That's the second bolt. It's a third, 2, and then there's number 1 over here we can't see. So we spin the motor around, and the next hole that comes out of here, spinning this way, should have no bolt in it. But technically, as that's 90 degrees from that, there could be 4 bolts. I doubt it, because there should be 3, but you never know. So we'll do a spin, a safety spin, and see what happens. Alright, so we're going to do our safety spin. First we take it out of gear. So park, neutral, reverse, and reverse neutral. So we spin our motor. Look at that, there's number 4. How smart am I? So apparently on this, they got 4 bolts holding it in. Which makes sense, because if you look at it, every 90 degrees there's a bolt. So it'd be weird that they'd put 2 like right up next to each other and have a gap. So it's actually lucky that we did a safety check, because it turns out there's 4 bolts holding the torque converter on. I'm used to either 3 or 6. This is honestly the first time I've seen 4, but I'm no automatic man. I like manuals. So we're gonna get number 4 off. Got it cracked. Come on, dog. Oh, it's coming, it's coming. Alright. Now that should be the last bolt. So we spin the motor around again and see what happens. Alright, so we spin the motor more and we're looking for the next hole. Boom. We done it. All the torque converter bolts are out. You can even see that they just like had a bit of spinach in there. Flex plate and torque converter, like, so they're not even lined up anymore. It's free. So now we got the 2 easy bolts, 1 here, and should be 1 up there holding up boxing. Now we check if the box will clear the exhaust. By the looks of it, the box will clear the exhaust. So over here we have a cross member dropped on the jack. So we need to jack the jack back up, bolt on a couple of them studs so the cross member has the weight, and then we're going to reposition this jack under here so it can cop the whole weight of the gearbox, and then we undo the last 2 bolts and drop the weight of the gearbox onto the jack, but it will be centered in the middle, so the gearbox should sit on the jack without falling off, because if we let it down where it is now, this is going to crush someone's hands. Straightforward. It's pretty simple, I reckon. Alright, so we jacked up the jack so we can see our studs through the cross member. They don't have to get screwed all the way on, just as much as like the nut has like protruded the stud, so that the nut, every bit of the nut has been used on the thread of the stud. We don't even need to put all 4 in, 3 of it will do the trick. Just so we can get the pressure. Take the jack load off and let the gearbox sit back in the car. But now we have to drop it first, because otherwise you'll never get the top bolts undone. So you have to like half drop it, put it back up, rearrange your jack, then you drop it back out. So it's like fiddly, but you can do it all in one go. It's just better to do it like this, I reckon. We've got 3 nuts back on, 1 still on the ground there. We're going to drop the jack and see what happens. Alright, so we drop the jack. Jack's dropped. Now we can reposition it. So we got the jack repositioned. You got a fucking block of wood. Take the pressure off the fucking sled again. Now we gotta take off our nuts. Now we need to take off the 2 remaining bolts, either side holding the box in, and we can drop it. Alright. Everything is out of the box. All the bolts are out. Well, everything that I think I can possibly separate from the box is out. So now I'm gonna try and drop it. So basically we lower the jack and try and pull the gearbox back. Oh, it's going to be a bit hard trying to film this, so you're gonna get I can either choose to snap one of my arms and get a hectic video of it, or I can fucking get a shit video and try and do this with both my arms. So we'll try take the box out with both arms. So we're lowering the slut, alright, it's dropped a bit. Now it's caught on. You gotta make sure the jack's got a bit of pressure on it. Now we're going to let the jack down a bit more. Alright, we're going to give it another wiggle. Alright, that looks like the gearbox is out of the fucking car, doesn't it? Alright, come on, stop. Let's go to fucking Sylvester Avenue. The brothel. Get a fucking all-male brothel. Alright. Well, looks like the fucking box is out. Alright, yep. I'm gonna fucking pull the dog back up. Alright, come on, mate. Fucking hook. Alright, alright. Alright, GoPro's in the way, but alright, we've done it. We got the gearbox out of the car. Like a fucking champion. Oh shit. Alright. Urgent. Oh, we've done ourselves some mischief trying to get it off. Fucking painted the ground. Fucking don't tell the EPA. Fuck. Well, the gearbox is out of the car. There's fucking auto fluid everywhere. And I've got to try and put the gearbox, another gearbox back in a puddle of automatic fluid. So this isn't happening. I'm fucking rolling the car down the street and gonna try and put the gearbox in down the road, because like I'm not doing it in this puddle of oil. So now we just need to try and like slide the gearbox from underneath the car, like free it. Normally I go out the back. Righto, I think, yeah, we're gonna have to go at the back up on the sway bar of the box. So I have to try and get the box out from underneath the car and clean up this oil before the EPA comes. It's really running down the road. Fuck. Alright, we just got the dog out of the side, we lifted the back, the arse end up like this. We brought the fucking big wide face flat against the ground. We managed to squeeze it up under. Look at some cook cunts trying to jack. Oh fucking hell, mate. What the fuck? Anyway, made a big mess. Something to clean up.